I welcome you all. Um, and as I've said earlier, I appreciate the fact that we decided that we would be taking this training forward, and it's part of the um, few things that we are enjoying as part of the fact that we belongs to, a community that value, you know, uh, development of an individual in every areas that concern us, and that is the camp. One of the privilege that we are, you know, having now is one of those things that this kind of training that we decided that any one of us that have one or two things to share, we just go ahead and at least so that it can educate the others. And this is one of the benefits of joining the camp as a community. Um, and as part of our collective goal as a data enthusiast, it is our belief that there are some uh, requirements that we need to have in terms of skills, and one of those skill is the Python programming needed for whatever thing that we're going to be needing it for. So one of those things is the data science, analytics, and the likes. And you know, part of the thing that we're going to be doing as far as this period is concerned is to leverage on how to make use of Python to do some basic things, in terms of starting from the um, beginners level, probably as we progress up to the advanced, if time permits, and then so that at least we could actually know that we are so strong when it comes to making use of Python for performing some basic analysis, as the case may be. So basically, what we're going to be covering as far as the module is concerned will be, getting our hand dirty using Python to do some basic stuff. And we will try as much as possible to progress it, and, so that at least we could actually make use of Python to, solve real life issues, scenarios, and some other areas of interest that we might want to venture into. So, and because it's a programming course, it's a programming module, it is expected that we need to, go along as the tutor will be taking the class, because that is what solidifies the learning. You know, one of those things that this tech skills has is that it's so volatile. Volatile in the sense that if you don't practice, it has a way of disappearing. So it is important that as the person is doing it, you are also doing it from your own hand. And that is why in the course of the week, I shared the basic things that we need to get us ready as far as this class is concerned. So without much ado, I would like to, ask if all of us have the software in our system, which is the Anaconda Navigator. So if you have it, you can just reply through the chat, and so that we know that when it comes to having the software, we are on the same page before we progress. Thank you. I'm waiting for reactions in terms of we having the software on our system. Do we all have it, or we are still having challenges as probably installation, blah blah blah? So let's try and respond on the chat. Okay, thank you. For the few that have responded, um, some said they've installed it. Some saying they're having challenges. So what we're going to be doing firstly is to walk us through the interface. How does it look like? What are those things that are required in terms of getting it installed? So permit me to go ahead and share my screen. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Let's respond though. This is the only way I can be so sure that we are together. Okay. So based on the stuff we shared, on the WhatsApp, we said there are so many things that you could actually use, which is the integrated development environment. The short form is the IDE. There are so many of them, but because we want the training to be, universal, and at the same time, we are actually on the same page. So we advise that what we're going to be using or what we're going to be adopting for the class is the Jupyter Notebook. Now, how do we get this Jupyter Notebook? You can only get it when you go and download it from anaconda.com. So if you click this link, I expect that it will take you to a page where you will have the Anaconda to be downloaded. Then, if I click this link now, let's see how it should the way it should show us. Now, this is it. So all you need to do is click on this download. So when you click on this download, the package will be downloaded on your PC. So when you have it on your PC, then the next thing you need to do is to go to that folder, open it, then install. So it's nothing. It's not taking anything. The only thing that you can now see, which was the complaint some people had, was that is asking them 64-bit, and I think their system is 32-bit. So to make it easy or easier, for the sake of making use of it, the only thing you can just do is, even if you go to Google, I actually saw the message very late, and there was no way for me to respond to it because of other thing I was doing as at that time. So the only thing you can do in another instance is to go to Google, type Anaconda, or then mention the configuration of your system. Like let's say for example, Anaconda for, let me say for example, Anaconda for Windows. Let's say X32 or 32 bits, something like this. So you have because if you click this now, yeah, it has shown. Do you understand me? So these are the other way for you to get or get the version as far as your system is concerned. If I click this now, so many of these, it will lead to so many information which might not really be of interest now. But the basic idea is just that in case it's not, you know, conforming to the version you have, Google is there for you to help you to get the right one as far as your system is concerned, because everybody have different systems, so we cannot just be doing for individual, but the basic general one is what I have, the link I have shared with us. So in case you want to get the version that belongs to your system, just do the way I've shown it to you. So if you do that download and you install, so what the next thing that you should see after installation is going to be this interface, which is what I'm going to be sharing now. Now, this interface is what you will see. This is how it will look like. This is how it will look like after finishing the, because there's nothing you are doing, just click yes, 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 and even if you ask to register, say no. It will, because Anaconda is more like a free source, it's an open source, so you don't need to, if you wish to register, fine. That means providing your email and maybe username and password. If that's optional, is available. And if you are not even putting any of your information, it will still download and it will still install in your system. So after installation, this is the interface you expect to have. Do you understand me? So in each of these interface, then you can now have different IDEs whereby you can now, you you can then install for you to make use of it. Let's say, for example, if you look at what I had here, I have Data Spell, I have CMD Prompt, I have Jupyter Lab, I have Jupyter Notebook, and so many of them like that. So the ones that you are seeing launch, it initially appear in an installation phase. That means if I need to use this Data Spell, for example, I need to first of all do what? Install it. So once I install it, it then comes, just click that install. It then comes to this launch. Launch means that this IDE is already installed on my system. So I can just click launch to open it. So everything that appears on this interface will appear either in its installation stage, maybe when I've not installed it. And if I've installed it, I will have it in form of this launch. So I can then click on anyone I want to use and begin to make use of it. So that works. So in our own case, we have the option of using Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. There's no difference between these two. The only thing is that Jupyter Notebook, it's more like the mostly used IDE for Python, and it's more often like an offline. You can use it offline even when you are not connected to the internet. But for the Jupyter Lab, or more often than not, you are likely to be connected, like you should have internet on your phone, on your system. So these are the two light difference between it, but the interface is the same thing. They behave the same way, no difference. So because of, in times maybe we want to work on your project, we want to do some practice and you don't have internet, but this thing is already installed on your system. So and then Jupyter Notebook becomes so handy for you to make use of it. So in this case, if you have done that, the next thing that we need to do is just click on this launch. And remember that both Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook operate using your default web browser. What does that mean? A minute, please. Let me accept those that are. So as I was saying, sorry for that break in transmission. So as I was saying, both Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook make use of your default browser. That means if your default browser is Chrome, by the time you launch it, it takes that default browser to launch itself. That means it will be open like you are opening a web page. So based on your default browser. So regardless of any default browser you have on your system, these two will make use of it to launch itself. So if I click this one, which is the basic thing that we're going to be working with this throughout this period, the Jupyter Notebook. If I click it, because I've already installed it, the only thing I need to do is just launch it. So clicking the launch, it will open. You see, I've already clicked that launch. So you can see. You can see because it was not responding faster, so I clicked it twice. So this is how it will show. This is my browser. I'm using Edge. So clicking the Jupyter Notebook, launching it, make use of the default browser, which is in this case, Edge. Anyway, your own can be Chrome, can be anything, doesn't matter. So this is now it has opened. This is the Jupyter Notebook. But this Jupyter Notebook does is to have access to all your files, on your system. So the next thing you're going to do is, let's assume I've created a folder whereby I want to be running my program. So I just need to go to that folder. In my own case, this is everything I have on my system. This is everything I have on my system. So all the things we're going to be working with, as far as my own folder is concerned, is on my desktop. If I click this desktop now, you can see it opens just like the way I've saved my contact here. So this is our own interest, the Chem Python. If I open this, so this is the file that I have put together, for this class. So the next thing to do is, in case you do not, because in your own case, you might not have anything, it will just open like that. So you're going to be having this place blank. I have created a folder. You can go to your own desktop or go to your own document and go to your own download. Anyhow, you want to be keeping the record of what you are doing. Maybe create an empty folder there, like on your desktop, an empty folder. So by the time you come in, you will see the empty folder you created, depending on how you have named it. If you open it, it's going to be blank. You're not going to have anything because you have not saved anything inside that folder. You only created that empty folder because you want to be putting your work there, which is Python as far as this training is concerned. So if I want to create a new folder, for example, inside that folder I've created, which is the Python file. So you just come to this new. Look at this one that I've opened. You can see there is an upload, there is new. So come to this new, click this new, the drop down. You will see options there. So what do I want to do? I want to create a folder that I want to be like maybe my new file. For example, if I click this, something which you can see there is a look at what we have now, untitled folder. So inside the folder I've created on my desktop, I can now say, okay, this one is Python class 1, for example. If I rename this one, then anything I'm doing that my program that I want to start doing will be saved inside this whatever I've called it. So that is a folder. So now, how do I create the Python itself? That kernel I want to be using, because in your own case, it's going to be empty. So if I do this, what I need to do is just come to this Python 3 kernel, because this is now the program. All these ones, this is a folder. This is the terminal. This terminal, this is like the terminal is just like also the programming font, like the ID that you are going to buy. You can only use the terminal if you are familiar with some basic commands that if you're not familiar with maybe programming before now, making use of terminal to run Python might be somewhat difficult. So it is not really advisable if you don't, maybe like a beginner. So, but it's also if an interface that you can use to run or write your codes. So, but it's only advisable that you go to the terminal if you have, gained some expertise, to run your whatever. So this folder is just like normal folder, the way I've explained it. This is just like a test file, like maybe you're just creating maybe a Word document kind of. Then this Python 3 IP kernel is now the ID itself that I want to use to write the program. If I click this, something will show for me. You can see something has come up. I want you to check the difference between where we had before and where we are now. If you look at this is like where I have all my folder, like all my files that maybe I've created before, or I just created it. The one I just created is the untitled folder, like a folder that I want to be using to be maybe you want to maintain each folder for each class. This one that you open now, you can say maybe class 1. So when you are done with your program, for today, you just move that file inside this folder 1, because that is what you call class 1. You can also create folder 2, maybe for class 2, and so on and so forth. So here now, I opened my ID. And how do I do it? Sorry, can we mute the mic?
Mommy crying, baby. Orange. Hello.
Maureen, please, can you help us mute your mic?
Hello. Okay. Ketsy.
So, as I was saying,
Lelo.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, spaghetti. Papa.
Maureen, please, can you mute your mic?
Oh. Me, I know.
How do I even move these things?
Mommy, I'm coming.
So sorry about that. So where we are is that now you have this folder. Then you want to go to the kernel itself, like the IDE, where you now want to begin to write the program. What you need to do is go to this new and click this Python 3. So your own case, it might be Python 2, maybe the version that your system can allow, but the latest is Python 3. So if whatever it is that you have here is just what your system has installed, the version, do you understand? So if you click this, it will show you a new page, from the web browser, don't forget. So, and this how it will look like an empty kernel and IDE that you just want to start, the program on its own. You want to start coding now. So this is how the interface will look like for a Jupyter notebook. And if you look at it, this link here, you can see it's not like a website. That's why I said Jupyter notebook, you can use it whether you are connected to internet or not. So it's just like you just make use of the web browser. It does not mean that you must have internet on your system before you can make use of it. That's one of the advantage that the Jupyter notebook has. You can use it offline even when you're not connected. So this is how it will open. Now, this thing that now opened, how do we do it? What does it mean? If you look at the options here, the first thing here, look at the Jupyter Untitled. So this Untitled here is where you can rename your file. That is the kernel, the folder itself, like the Python programming that you want to now begin to work with. For example, if I want to change this Untitled to maybe class 1, let's say for example, you just need to double click on that. You can see that when I over my cursor there, the Untitled is a bit, thick kind of, So if you double click on this, it will show you how to just do like this. So it will show you that, okay, rename this notebook, like give it a name. Like, so if I say it's class 1 Python, anyhow you want to. So giving it, I've renamed the rename. So you can see it has changed from Untitled to class 1 so that I can have my code structured in a way that immediately I know each file, what it's meant for, what are those things that this entails. Do you understand me? So that is how you do the renaming. The next thing is that you have file edit, just like the way we have it. So file, if you click the file, it will show you option. Do you want to open a new notebook? Do you want to make a copy, or maybe you have written so many code and you will need that code again instead of you saying like you want to copy. So just make a copy. That whole notebook will be replicated and you can make your adjustment. Maybe like, for example, you've written a very fine code, like maybe 200 lines, and you don't want to touch it. You don't want to maybe play around it. You can make a copy. That copy you make, you can now work on it, and maybe you want to change anything and whatever, so that you now affect the original code. So you can do this here. You can save as, can do so many things here. Just like as we progress, you're going to see all of this. Then edit, in case maybe you need to do some things on the cells and so on and so forth. Then the kernel. So this kernel, what is even a kernel? A kernel is where you perform or type your code. This one you see in like a square bracket, then this number 1, the entire thing here, this is the kernel, because this is where you put your code. Then we have the widget, then help and every other thing like that. In case you need something, maybe you forgot a code, you can just go to this help to tell you things you're looking for. Then we have some symbols here. We have this is save, this is to add new kernel like this. If maybe I need other cell, more than one, just come to this plus. If I click it, you can see it will be adding up. Maybe what you want to do, maybe you want to write it by a 5-line different code and you don't know what to do, just come to this plus. It will be adding it based on what you're looking for. Then this is delete. If I don't need this, just click this thing out. If I want to delete this last one, just click. It will take it off. It will take it off and go back to where you are. Then this is your copy entire set. Maybe I want to copy the content here and so on and so forth. Majorly, we don't really make use of, other than the common one that we make use of is this plus in case you want to add. So the cells, which is the kernel in this case. Then we have this run. Now this run is after you have written your code. You now want to see what you have done. You click this, it will work. So we also have shortcuts which you are going to be seeing. Then we have this stop. This stop is very important. How is important is that maybe you have written codes, and when you run your code is running to the extent that it does not have end. And you don't want to continue like that because as its run is chopping your space of your system, you don't want to write a code that will be running forever, no end. So because you don't know what has happened, maybe in the course of you coding, something happened, and you are not sure of maybe this will have an end, just come to this stop. It will stop the execution of that program, and you can now check what is wrong. That's what you use this stop for. Are you getting me? Then this is like a refresh. This is like forward and blah blah blah. Now let's go to this code. This code, if you click the drop down, there are other options here. The critical thing that we need to be careful of is this code and this markdown. This code is, if this region is shown as code, that means that anything you are typing on this panel will be seen as a code. If you run it, it should run, meeting your normal criteria. But if I change this thing and I put markdown, there are two different things. This markdown is saying that maybe after I've written my code, but I need to pass some argument, like I want to write some text so that when I'm going through this file next time, I can see those text and understand what I've done. Like a text file, I want to type something. So this, immediately you type and you click and you run it, anything you run under this kernel is expected that it's a code form. So if it's not meeting some function, some standard, Python will return an error. So I know that it's not a code, I just type maybe my name is Shegun, for example, and I want it to be maintained, I will change this from code to this markdown. If I put markdown there and I run it, no error. It will assume that you're only putting a text information. So, and that is how it works. So this is the basic introduction of all what's expected from us. Let's say, for example, I type my name is Ola Unrewaju. Say, for example, looking at this, anything inside this cell, Python is seeing it or Jupyter Notebook is seeing it to be a code. So if I run this, it's going to be error because this is not a code. Do you understand? And the ID thing, it run because it's already on Magna. If let me put it back to code. Let's assume I didn't know. I just say I run it. Look at what it's saying. It's not saying this as a code because what I just typed is a text. But me, I want to maintain this as my name is Olanwaju. So the only thing I need to do immediately I don't type in is to come to this code region where I'm saying this and take this drop and pick Markdown. If I pick Markdown and I run it, nothing will happen. You can see that it has indicated it as a text. That's all. So in case you need to maybe give a subtopic of whatever you are doing and blah blah blah. So this is what you make this is what you use this thing for. Is it a code format? Is it a text format? And you can decide and do the needful when it comes to making use of it. So this is just the basic introduction to the interface of a Jupyter Notebook for Python. So I hope we all understood before we move into the program. Let me hear our response. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
So I hope you are following.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay. Yeah, I also have a question. Maybe after him.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, Markdown is it just having as a comment?
Yeah, when you're trying to pass a comment or you're trying to make anything that's a text. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me too? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said Markdown, is it basically the function? Is it basically just a comment?
Yes, well, if you are passing a comment or you want to type something like a text information, so you use Markdown for Jupyter Notebook kernel to recognize it as an entity. Otherwise, anything you put inside this kernel, this is expected to be a code. So a text is not a code in this case. So, but you want to maintain it for you to make it look like it does exist. You need to change immediately you finish typing on that kernel. You need to come to this place and choose the option Markdown. That means what I have inputted, I want Python IDE in this case Jupyter Notebook to see it as a text. Basic. Do you understand? So otherwise, it's a default. It's expected that anything you are doing here should be a code. Are you getting me now? So that is just the difference. So you can write as many things as you can. The way it is now, if I change this thing to Markdown, I can write as a whole page, just keep writing. For as long as it's on this markdown, it's fine. You're going to see example on that. So like a text information, use markdown. A code, let it be a code on this kernel. Otherwise, it will run an error. Okay. Hope that answers your question. Hello. Mr. Pascal, hope that answer your question.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Mr. Emmanuel, you can have your question so that we move on.
Yeah, so my question is just simple. Those drop down functions that you just explained now, where we have the one you used to add more cells and the other one. I just want to know how to get that drop down because it's not showing here on my own part. Right, I can
Okay.
only see, mind you, I can only see file, edit, but that particular drop down where you have the run and the rest. I don't know if you
This is not there.
Yes, it's not.
Are you sure? It should be. You're not even. This is not even an installation. It should come at default without not doing anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not even coming like that. I'm surprised.
Which one did you install?
I'm using the Anaconda, the normal one. I'm seeing exactly everything you are showing, but except that one.
You know what you would do? Click this. Do you see anything like a keyboard? Maybe at the end of. Do you see anything like a keyboard here? Something.
No, I can't.
But that's where you can still add. If you click this, you can add what you want to appear there. So
I don't know whether I need to restart it because
maybe you need to restart it. Just
I
restart.
don't maybe update because it's been a while I downloaded this.
Oh, okay. Okay,
3 months.
then just hold on. You will do that update. So in case we are done and we don't want to continue, you can log out. This is the logout here. If you log out this kernel is closed, so it's not running. So that is just about that. And I think that should be the introduction to Jupyter Notebook IDE for Python. So we can move ahead to the business of the day. Or any other, do you still have any other question? Do we still have another question? Okay. So let's move ahead. Please, I would, for those of us that is able to be on, we're on this page, please open this Jupyter Notebook, just like what I've done. And so that by the time we start the class, you can follow us. So be also sure that in case we're moving fast, I will try as much as possible to take things, sequentially. But in case I'm not, maybe you are lost in between or something, quickly call my attention so that we can be on this. The essence of this is not the speed, or rather, what can we gain? Do you understand? So, the fact that because number one of the thing that this thing is giving to us is that number one, we have decided that it's not about the speed. We are not rushing because there's no target anywhere. Rather, let's grab the best we can take out of this training and use it for our own good. That's what matters. So it's not about how far, but they do say how well. So please, in case maybe my speed or something, please do not hesitate to ask questions. From the survey we threw out on the group, we have some people that are intermediate that even know more than myself. So, and we have some people that are beginners. So we want to, get to that level, the same level. Everybody, we would integrate ourselves together. That's the goal. So please, and don't look at it. All of us are learning here, and we are learning here. So in case you have a better idea to how we want to go about some things, do not hesitate to share, and so that we can all benefit together. So thank you. And then I need to quickly state that before we progress. So I'm going to open my Jupyter Notebook that I prepared for this class, and that's this. It should open. Now, if you look at what happened there, from the folder I've created, you can see that class 1 Python is already here, and you see something. It's showing green. green means something. Other ones, you see that other one are like nothing. There's no color. So this one that is not showing anything is like, it's telling you that you have not launched it. It's not running. But the one that is green shows an active kernel. That means that kernel is already open on my browser. So it's either I'm using it currently or not. So if I'm not using it, I rather close it so that it doesn't keep taking space. You can see it has been running for 7 minutes ago. So if I don't need it again, I can close it and forget about it so that it doesn't keep running on the ground and taking my system space. Do you understand the idea now? So that's how it works. So immediately, just like what I've said, immediately you create it, you will see it part of your existing file that you have created. So since I think we are done. Okay, can still leave for those that are just joining. So this is a typical file that we're going to be working with. I've explained how I come about this. Now, this one you see here is just to tell us, okay, what do we expect? As a class 1 introduction to Python, one of the objectives that we're going to be looking at, whether I aim to achieve as far as this class is concerned, is to, number one, recognizing and using basic operations such as addition, subtraction, and blah 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 in Python. Then how do we print? How do we define variables? How do we use mathematical operations with variables? How do we recognize and manipulating strings, integer, float, and boolean? So the next thing I was saying, before this class was that this information here, you can see they are text, and I typed it on the kernel of a Jupyter notebook, and it's showing me this text. That's what I've said, that if you understand this markdown, you can even use it to write as many information you wanted. The only thing is that when you're about to leave that page, ensure that it's marked as a markdown. So that's just so that it can work and can see whatever you're looking for. You understand? If I double click here, you can see this is all the information I've typed. Assuming it's in kernel, you can see I've used how many lines from number 1 to number 19. So every information I've written on this single cell has given it a number, and I've used about 19 lines to capture my information, or so to say. And every information I've typed here, they are just text. But I want to see this text showing. So the only thing I can do if I need to run this program so that it will not throw me error is to change the code. If initially it will be like this, I need to change this code to become a markdown so that I can see and recognize everything as a text. That's just a simple thing. So, and that is expected. So if I run this program now, because it's already a markdown, if I click and run, nothing will happen. You can see, it will see it and it will run it. You can see it was run, I clicked. But imagine if it was a code and you click this run, it will throw error because it's not seeing this text as a code. So that is just and this is one of the powerful things that this markdown does for us. It makes you to put information that is as you so wish on your Jupyter notebook kernel, and you are fine. So the same thing, and all of this information in case you want to get to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and blah blah blah. So I also put some text. I said the Python for Big Data Science and Analytics course is aimed at equipping learners with the basic and core Python skills and knowledge that will be needed for learning big data analytics, which is basically the analysis on a larger scale with high volume, velocity, and variety in the data. That's complex data anyway. The training includes some practice assignments. We expect to work on them and submit them for grading and corrections. It is believed that in doing this, you will build your confidence in using Python programming language in any case scenario. My advice is that you constantly practice for you to get yourself familiar with the language and syntax. Make the Python documentation your friend. Now, this information here is very key. Part of the thing that we are paying, we need to pay a token for this program, and what we are paying is simply commitment, not financial anything, commitment, because that is the goal. It's not going to be okay if you spend time and at the end of the day you could not take anything out of this program. So you need to be committed to this program even when it is free. So your time is actually precious, which is the money you are bringing on board. So I said we need to practice. At the end of every class, I aim to give assignments is just for you to practice what you have done in class, and go over it again, see where you can make mistakes, submit it, then we'll look at it from the back end, mark it, put up the correction so that you can learn better. And that's how it works. So that is how it works. So more often than not that I will just be here doing the whatever. You also have your own quota. So, and we're going to be measure this strictly. This is important because we don't just want you to run through this program because you just saw it. Want to, if it's just one or two things that you're able to pick out of this, that is the goal. So we would, emphasize and take this part seriously. It's very important. Assignments will be issued in class, and you might not complete it in class, but you can do it as an assignment and submit. So the channel on which I'm going to submit our assignments, provide it, and it is important that because it's going to be a week. So if at the end of this class, we give you an assignment, you do it before the next class, you submit, we look at it, we do the correction, and you learn better. So it is important for us to take note of this, please. Then Python is an interpreted, object-oriented, high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. It's high-level built-in data structure, combined, blah, blah, blah. This is just like introducing us to what Python is. We can check this. So what you will learn, my aim is that at the end of everything, we should be able to, get familiar and get our hands strong on Python introduction, which involves the basic fundamentals thing that we need to know on Python. Then Python for data analysis, which is, at least understand what is called, what we call NumPy. Python for data analysis, what we call pandas. Data visualization, what we call matplotlib, and introduction to machine learning, scikit-learn. So all of this, if time permits and we're able to go through this module, at the end of everything, you should be so confident to pick any problem, use Python to analyze it, and present your report. That is the aim. So because all of these things I've written here is what's the aim, trying to address. Python for big data analysis. And these are the things you need to know. These are the skills. If you're able to get your understanding and take a grip of all of these points I've highlighted, then you are fine when it comes to using Python to solve problems, in data analysis or data science, as the case may be. So we hope that, time will permit, and if not, we can still extend the class, blah, 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 and up to we're able to, cover more and as we progress. So now, in case of the scenario that happened, some people might have downloaded this Anaconda long time ago, and a lot of version is coming up. So you might need to wake that Anaconda hop from the old version to the new version. How do we go about it? So this is just a guide. We might not need to go through this now because we still have other things to cover. Just go to your start menu, type Coda deactivate, then also type Coda update and Anaconda navigator. It will just under the command. Maybe at the end of the class, I will show us how to do this so that you can update your version to the latest one. You can see when I open my own, it was Python 3. Some people can be Python 2. Some people can be showing Python 1. That means it's a long time ago. So you need to update to the latest version. And it's important because of the modification that me using Python 3, some of the interface that we'll be enjoying, some of those things that might have been embedded in Python 3, somebody that's using Python 2 might not be able to have that chance or that privilege. So it is important that for you to update your Anaconda up to the latest version. So now we begin the program. Python as a calculator. That means even as smaller as what Python can do, it can still perform some basic calculation for us as a calculator, which are the normal arithmetic that we are familiar with. You can use Python to do it. And that's one of the beauty of understanding Python from the rudiment. Let's assume you find yourself in an environment where the only access you have is just your Jupyter notebook, and somebody is giving you, help me to add one whatever together. Maybe you went to a supermarket and they're trying to do some calculation and you don't have calculator, you don't have anything, but they say you have a Python in your system. You can use your Python to do the calculation, and you tell them the whatever. So this is just the smallest activity that you can use Python for. Not even thinking of those other advanced things that Python can do for us. So Python becomes so important that, and globally is one of the language that when you learn it, it's so important, and you cannot even underestimate the usefulness. So we need to just, and the word is, everybody knows that the tech is taking the space. So at least you'll be able to learn one language. Just like you understand, maybe let's say base English now. You want to go and learn, maybe let's say French. English and French are two different languages. So by the time you are moving to the environment of learning French, you have to get yourself familiar with all the grammatical rules and everything. So the same thing with Python. Is a language. You want to speak a language that you don't know. That means you need to get yourself familiar with all of those things that you will require for you to understand the program better. So all of those things you require to understand the program better in English language, such as maybe grammatical rules and blah blah blah. Also, this language has it, and that's what we call the syntax. How does it appear? What are those things to put in place before you can even make use of it? So these are things that we're going to be covering as far as this class is concerned. So let's take a typical example. This is an empty kernel as we have shown to us. And if you look at this kernel, I want you to observe something. You can see that there is like an in. In is like the input. So what you are supplying, you will always put it in that kernel that I've shown to you that must be on the code format or a markdown format. So in is inside this square bracket. You see there is nothing because you have not supplied any information and you have not even run the program. So it's appearing as a fresh kernel that is yet to take an input from you. So I can now supply my input. Let's assume the first operation I want to perform. Let's say what I want to do is 500 plus just your normal plus let's say 400. Normally, I have done the input. The input, I want to add 500 and 400 together. So if I click, how do we run this program? Two ways. You can do shift enter after you are done typing what you want Python to do for you, or you just come here for as long as the cursor is still blinking on your cell, which is the kernel. Come here and run it. It will still do the same function. So you do shift enter, or you run this. Everything will work the way you are looking, the way you want it to run. So if I do shift enter, you can see something has changed. You can see from the in that has nothing, it has shown 1. That means this is the first time you are running this cell and it's giving you output also 1. Are you getting it now? So there is an input now, the line is already taken, and it produces an output also 1, giving you as 900. So this is the basic calculation. Are you getting it now? So this is the first elementary thing that you can do. If I can do addition, so also I can do subtraction. Are you getting it now? So that is it. So all of these things are basic. You can see 1 plus 2 is 3. 6 minus 2, 6 minus 3, you can see is 3. Now, normal division, 10 divided by 2. I'm expected to have an answer 5. You can see for every input, that means for every of this cell, the information I've supplied, I will have a result after I do shift enter or I just come here and run. So it will run either of the two. The only thing is that make sure your cursor is on the cell you want to run. So now, also one of the beauty thing about Python is that it's also we know our elementary board mass when we're in school. So Python also, try to take it in that manner. I have product. This is times. This star is times, which is in our keyboard. So I'm plus. So I'm saying that 4 times 2 plus 1. Python needs to understand priority, which is what we call board mass. So it doesn't just work, haphazardly. It follows basic mathematical rules and guidelines to perform its operation. So I know by board mass that multiplication comes first. So Python is going to first of all do 4 times 2 before adding 1. That's what is expected. So if I do this, you can see 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So, but if your own interest is to say 2 plus 1 first before multiplying by 4, so you know that you are not going to write it this way because Python will tell you that, no, I understand that multiplication will come first. First of all, do times for you before adding it with the next one. So you need to understand what are you writing and build your input to capture it that way. So that's why you see me saying that mathematical priorities apply here. So multiplication has priority over addition, which is the elementary board mass that we are familiar with. So, and that's how Python will treat it. So a better way of writing it is what I've done, so that you can use brackets and say, okay, we know that bracket comes first. Anything, whatever you have inside the bracket is what will be executed first before going out of that bracket. So this is a better way of writing so that you don't need to confuse which one will come first. With this bracket, I know that Python first of all do this before adding it with one. But even without bracket, it's still going to be same. But it's better for you to write it in a way that anybody can see it and understand what you intend to pass. Because it might be that what you're interested in is, because somebody might be like, what you want to do is actually 4 times, maybe what you want to do was actually this. But because you don't know that Python respects priorities in terms of sequence of numbers. So if this is your intention, this is 2 plus 1. That's going to be what? 3. 4 times 3 will be 12. It's different from when it was 9. Can we see? So we need to understand what is our interest as a person. So my interest is I want to say Python first of all add 2 and 1 together before multiply by 4. But we have written this way. Python will first of all multiply before adding. So you are not going to achieve your desired results. So it is important for us to understand the order of our operations, what we intend to achieve, and instruct it. It's just a computer. It's a program. Tell it what to do. It will do it for you. So we need to guide it very well so that I can understand what you intend to achieve and work in that manner. So these are basic operations, and I leave us to do more examples as the case may be, and blah blah blah, because there's nothing other than just your normal operation, either multiplication, either addition, either subtraction, either division, if it work, for as long as you put the right thing there. Now, the next thing we're going to be going into is what I call I'm going to show us this. Now, look at what I did here. Print. Now, 2 things I want you to understand here. You know, when we did the direct input, Python shows me the results. And why is it showing me the result? Because I only have one entity here ordinarily, just this line. Let's assume I try to modify this and I do something like this. You're going to tell me what's going to be the answer now. Let's say I did something like this. 12 times 5 plus 3. And also do 13 minus 5. Can anyone tell me what's going to be the answer of this operation I've written? So let me get our response from the chat. What's going to be the answer? What's going to be our answer?
I think it's going to show an error.
Is that what?
63 and 3.
63 and 3. Okay. Thank you. Someone said 63 and 3. Actually, someone said error. It's not going to be error. 2 things we need to observe here. You see that there are 2 operations I want Python to do for me, but I captured these 2 operations on a single cell, you know, because it's not, you can see that it's just one single cell I've captured this information. Now, Python, we only understand the operation of the last one. Do you understand the idea? We only this one will override this. You get it? So it's not going to look at it because this is the last operation you want it to do. So it's going to reckon with the last operation. This one, it doesn't concern Python again. You have gone out of this stage. Rather, this is what it's saying. So if I on this cell now, if I just click run, the answer I'm going to see is going to be this answer, not this. Because you are telling Python, you write so many things. So Python will only work with the last one to return your result for you. So we can try it. Let me run it and see. Can you see? You know, by operation, 5 times 2 is 10, Abi. 13 minus 10 will give you 3. You can see that it doesn't do anything here because this is not the last information on the line. This is my last information, and that's what Python will understand. Are you getting it now? So when we are writing our code, whatever you see that you put on the last line, know that that's what Python will recognize in terms of basic. We are still going to see how to, if I want everything to show, we'll get to a state whereby we'll see everything and it will show. But based on what I've written here, it's going to understand the last one and it's going to interpret my results for me with the last line. Nothing shaking. I hope you understand. So that's how it is. So somebody that has said 63, if I'm not mistaken, you can see that it's only work with this line. So that is one way, and we need to understand this very concretely. Now, if I now wanted to show both this and this at the same time, then turn to an operation or a command that we call print. So that's where we are going now. A print is a command in Python that we interpret each of the line that I want you to show based on what I've written. So it means that if I've written 500 lines here and I put print as a command, Python has the ability to understand, oh, you want me to show. So it means that we use print function to display our output. That is the meaning. So we use a print function to display our output. It means that I am interested in knowing the output of this and also the output of this. What I need to do is just to invoke this command, which is called print, and it will show it. So let me now do that now and see how it works. So let me go back to this. See, if I put print, just normal print, and then I put my parentheses and I put my, you're going to see, and also come to the next line. I also do print, and I copy this also. See the difference. That's the powerful thing that these are the powerful function that exist. You can see I have done prints on each of those things. If I run it now, I will see the two results. Can you see? So it means that if you are not only interested in the last line, you're also interested in every other line above the last line. The only thing you need to invoke is what is the print. Hope you are getting it. So a print command in Python allows us to display our output regardless of the number of lines you have. So I think this is clear. So that's what print functions do. So one of the first command we started with now is the print. So if I want to see everything, I put print. So immediately, if I didn't put print here, maybe I only indicate my print only on this. It only show me this. If I only indicate it here, it only show me this. Do you understand? So that is the logic. So, and I hope that is clear. So the same thing here. So I need to first of all explain it so you can understand what print is doing. So the same thing on this part too. If I run this program as well, you can see, because I said I've added print, so it will show me 4 and 20, and that's the output. And I want you to understand something. Something is different. When I did not add print, I'm having in and out because system is seeing it as garbage in, garbage out. But I've invoked a command. When the command comes, the output changes. There's nothing there. It only display what your output is, and that is the semantic. That is the way the syntax is. It's still an output, but the only difference is that this is operating normally. That's like garbage in, garbage out. What you give in is what is giving out. But here, I have invoked something to show me output. It's like I enforced a particular command because I want to see the output. So it will display it in the output line, but not indicating this output. Are we getting the difference? But all of them are output. This is natural because I didn't invoke any command. It just worked naturally. But this one, I have invoked a command. So Python is like I have forced Python to show me the result, even when it decided not to show me. Do you get the logic? So, but at least it still display what we're looking for. So that is it. That's the idea. So the same thing. We have print our magic number. Who can tell me what's going to be the answer? Print our magic number is 3. We can print the first number as 10, 5, blah, blah. Can anybody explain what this line? You can unmute yourself and just speak. Maybe 1 or 2 people. Can you tell me what I'm expected to see here? You can just, anybody can just unmute the mic and speak. Hello. Hello. Are we still in class?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you, but I'm just trying to reason some stuff there. What was there?
I'm actually
Okay.
trying to comprehend the statements too.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I
We
was saying
can
that.
hear you.
Okay.
It's noise.
Okay. Thank you. Now, before we progress, what I asked was that, can anybody give us idea what we should expect with the explanation we have made above? We can see a print, so automatically we know that each of these lines will show. So we have seen a print before the text, so something will show. That is clear. So the question I now ask that, what is it that will show? So that's where we are now looking at, okay, what I'm going to see, what am I going to see, what am I going to see? It's fine, I understand. So let me take it this way. Because there is a command print, so don't doubt it. Everything here will show. Because I said, show me. That's the meaning of print. Show me what you have inside the bracket. Do you understand? That's the simplest way you can look at it. Show me anything you have written inside the bracket. That's what the main print means. So the next thing is that Python will now look at it. Okay, what I have inside this bracket, is it something that I can perform operation on it, like the one we did here? He didn't show me 1 and 3 because there is an operation. So he only added it or do whatever operation that need to be performed and show me the operation and show me the result rather. So the same way here, this is Python. Show me everything here. Python will now look at this thing here. Is this one, can I add it? Is it addition? Is it multiplication? Is it whatever? So Python will now look at it and say, okay, no. This is not something that can be added because this one, they are what? These are text information. And this comma and this another. So it's two different information. It will come out like that. Nothing will happen. Unlike when it's the same thing, that is number to number, and I'm putting a plus in between, or I'm putting a minus, I'm putting a product in between it, a multiplication. Do you understand? So I'm telling Python, you cannot do anything, just show me the way I've given it to you. So that is what this one means. The same thing here. Look at it. We can print the first number as a text. There is an operation. This is 10 times 5. And then some text, another text. So in between text, there's an operation that Python will try and understand if you can perform it. If you can perform it, it will multiply for you. If not, it will return it the way it is. So each of them will return everything you have inside the bracket. Anyone that's operational, like maybe it's addition, it's multiplication, it will do it and tell you the answer. But if not, it will return it the way it is. So if I do it like this now, let's run it and see how it's going to look like. Basically, you see, the first one, our magic number is 3. That's what you have written. You have written a text. Our magic number is 3. Now, between text and number, I use the comma so that at least there can be space. That's what this one is saying. Comma, it will not show the comma. It's just saying that this first thing in parentheses is a text information. We're still going to get to that. Then there is a number, which is not text. So putting them together, Python is showing to you. Now look at this. We can print the first number as it says whenever you're done with the text. Like Python says, okay, multiply any number in between it. 10 times 5 is 50. And then follow the text again. Can we see the way it is? That's what it has done. So it will return it the way you have given it to Python. The only thing you will now look at is that do you have operation in between? If you have operation, it will return, it will run the operation and give you the answer. So do you understand the logic? So even if I change this one to 500, it will still run just 10 times 500. You are going to see 5,000 now. Run the program again. You see, we can print the first number as because I have invoked an operation that multiply these two numbers together and display it for me, then follow the other text. Do you understand the logic? So this is what we display. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of a print statement. Print statement is very, very important. We are going to see the importance as we progresses, but they are very, very, very important when it comes to understanding the principle of elementary operations in Python. So this is it. So I don't know if anybody has a question before we move to, because I want you to do all of this. So there are about 5. Let me even do the first 3. So I want a volunteer to tell me the first answer, another person to tell me the second answer, another person to tell me the third answer, and we'll run it and see it together. So I'm waiting. So a volunteer, if you are practicing it, you should have it so that we can move ahead. I hope you are getting it and I hope you are following.
Yes, the first one is 10.
Is that what?
The first one is 10.
The first one is 10. And your name is?
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, okay. I think that should be correct. Yes. So we will work with the second. If you run the program, if your Jupyter Notebook is on, all this should come because just type it and run it. It will show you the result. And by now we can see the difference of in and out and the one that has print. So that's how it works. The second one is all right. And the third one, of course, we all agree is going to be this. And this one, don't forget this is a division. So by BODMAS, bracket of division. bracket of division. So division will come first. Do you understand? Because bracket of division. So division, it was 4 divided by 2. That will be 2. 2 plus 4 will give you 6. So this answer should be 6. Are you getting it now? I have told us the order of operation BODMAS is important. Python obeys rule. It will not just jump anything. It will follow the order of how something should look like. So this print now, 9 divided by 2 is a division. 9 divided by 2 should give us 4.5. So that's what we expect. Are you getting it? And I've explained to us the difference between when it wasn't having print, that's giving me in and out, and when it's having print. So don't let us forget. These are things that we should be familiar with now. So now let's move to the next one. I hope we all understood the basic calculation that we can use Python to do, and that's what we have done here. So let's move ahead. If you have any question from what we have covered, let me know before we move to other advanced one. Olaolu, can you help us mute your mic?
Oh, sorry.
So do you have any question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, what's the question, sir?
Yeah, from line 12.
From
Can
line
you
12.
scroll back there?
Okay. Line 12, right?
Yes, but there's
Please. Okay.
something obstructing your screen.
Can you see it?
Yes. The second command where you
Okay.
wrote print, we can print the first number as that. I can see that the colon, like after us, like there is a space. So does it matter if the colon is like if directly after the alphabet, or if there's a space? Does it affect?
No. What this is just doing for us is that, look at it here. If I close it, this is what you're trying to see. Let's run it and see what you're going to have. Isn't difference? So all of this is just to make your code, there's how you can always fine tune your code to be very beautiful. That's just what it means. The basic is, which we are still going to go to. This kind of thing I've done here, which are text information, they are called string. String is a data type that is synonymous to text. So whenever you put a string up in Python, you must put them in parentheses, either single quotes or double quotes. So the only thing where Python will return error, if I didn't quote this. Do you understand? If I didn't quote it, that's when I have issue. And look at what has happened. Let's assume I take away this quote. And you now ask Python to run this thing. Something will happen. Can you see? It's telling us there is an error because you have inputted a text information. And whenever you do a text, you must put them in quotes. You must put them in parentheses, either a single quote or double quote, beginning, the end. You understand? That's if you do that, you have told Python to say, okay, this thing I've put under quote is a text information, just like the one you do when we are dealing with Markdown. You understand? No, it's not a code, though. It's just a bunch of information. Treat it as such. Don't change anything. But if you didn't put it in quotes, you are telling Python to run it as a code, and it's not seeing it as a code. It will throw an error. That is the logic. So now depends on, do you want to fine-tune the code in a way that I want my code to be fine? Then you can do all what we said we should do. Are we together? So that is just it. So if I return back to where I am, so nothing has changed. You understand the idea now? So it's just a way to beautify. All of what I'm saying here is that between this place and this place, all these things is a text. The only thing is that I have created another, there should be a character. I'm saying this is an empty character because something should be after this as, but I didn't put anything, just an empty character. So if Python is turning, it will turn in that manner, logically. Do you get it now? So why this is just a number. Number can work. I don't need to put number in quotes. So it will work. But if I put this in quotes, let's say, for example, if I put this in quotes, you are telling Python to say, see what I've done here is now, this one also is now a text. So if I run it, it will not multiply again. Let's see. If you run it, it's going to show you 10 and 50, 10 and 500, because you have told Python to see that number as a text. You see, you can see it not multiply it because I have invoked my operation to say, Python, you see this thing is no longer what you can multiply is now a text. That is the logic. So anything you put on that quote, Python see it as a text, which we call string. We are still going to get to that. Do you understand? So that is how it is. So you can see that I did not multiply again because I returned it. So if I remove it now, I'm saying it's a number, Python, multiply it for me. And you do the operation. And this one also, look at it, same way. So it's just a format kind of, it doesn't matter if it's, the only thing is begin it and close it. Is that clear, sir?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we don't have any other questions. We can move ahead. All right. Now, some advanced operations, which are very important also. This is normal division. There's no problem about this. We have done this one even in the last 4.5 is the answer. So the only difference is that this one we invoke print. This one no print. We know that it's in and out. And I expect somebody should ask me a question. Why is it that I'm putting text here and I did not change this thing to markdown and it's still operating? This is what we call comments. If I want to pass a comment within the body of my panel and I want Python to recognize this as a text without not changing it, I just need to put an hash or a hash before that word. And Python will leave it the way it is. It will not change it. Do you understand? So this is how you pass a comment. Maybe I am only interested in giving this operation a very defined meaning. It's a division. And I don't want to write that division as a markdown so that we see it as under, I want it to be within the same confinement of that kernel. So the way we can do it is to comment that line, and commenting it, just put hash. If you put this hash and your word, I've said hash division, so nothing will change. The operation will still run. So it will see it at whatever you have defined it, so that when you are going through your code, you can understand what you did in that particular cell alone or in that particular kernel alone. If I run this now, you can see it's giving me 4.5, and I've explained this one print, it takes out the print out, and when I don't have print, it's showing me the out. So you have to understand this. I've told us it's not changing the output, it's not changing anything. It's just the way you have interacted with the Python. That's how you are having the output. So it's still the same thing, but we need to understand why am I not having out, why am I having out. It's just because of the invoke command that you have instructed Python to do. Now that is the basic. Now what do we call floor division? Now you see this floor division, we are familiar with our whole number and even number in mathematics. The same concept here. If I divide anything, but I'm not interested in the decimal part, I only want to see the whole part. What we do, or the command we use in Python, is called floor division. Just like two dash coming between two numbers. Immediately I do that, you are telling Python to perform it's a division, but this division is not giving me the whole answer. Unlike this 4.5, this 4.5 is the actual result when I use 9 to divide 2. But when I use this double slash, I'm telling Python, don't give me the decimal part, give me the whole part, the whole number part. That means that from this 4.5, if I do this double division, which is what we call floor division, Python will only return me the whole number part, which is 4. The remaining one, I'm not interested. That's what you have told Python. So if you do an example, what I've done here, if you run this program, do you see? You only have the whole part. You can see that it's still the same thing. It's 9 divided by 2. But in this case, because I've used double slash, which interpreted in Python as a floor division, that's what we call it, it will return the whole number. So it means that floor divisions gives you the whole number of a fraction. Do you understand me? It gives you the whole number of a fraction. So why your normal division, which is single slash, will give you the whole result. But I'm not interested in the whole result. I only want to see the whole number part. You use a floor division. So the same thing here. Who can tell me what is 10 floor division 3 will give us? Based on the explanation I have provided now. 10 floor division. Is that what?
That's 3.
All right. 3. Yeah. You all see now. So
That's
it is just, it's just 3. It's just 3. Because that's so. Yeah, that's very correct. That's very correct. That's what it does. So you can practice as many as you wanted. Immediately you put double slash, you should expect what you have, and that is how it works. Now, another thing is modulo. Modulo, which is for those of us that maybe did physics, like modulus, absolute value. But in this case, modulo is an important operator in Python. And what it does is also works with division. But in this case, there are two opposite things that we're interested in. You know, this one gave us whole number. It means this modulo will give us what? The remainder. That means if I divide anything and I use this symbol, dollar, this ampersand, or what you call the percentage sign. If I use percentage sign between two numbers, I'm telling Python to say, okay, divide this thing and give me the remainder. I don't want to see the whole number part. Just return the remainder for me. I'm only interested in the remainder. That's all. So 10 divided by 3 will give us 3, remainder 1. So my answer by using this symbol is to show 1, not 3. Do you get the idea? So these two, I want to master it because I'm going to be using it often and often. A floor division and a modulo. Floor division will give me whole number. Modulo will give me the remainder when I perform a division. So if you want to try that, so even without doing this, I expect somebody to tell me the answer, which is 1. Are we getting it now? Do you see? The remainder is what I'm interested in. So it will show me this. So we can do as many as we wanted. Let me add and say, let me say another one here. Let me say 500 modulo 56. 2000 modulo 3. So if you do this, you are only seeing the remainder. So it's going to be 52. That means if you use 500, if you use 50 to divide 500, your remainder will be 52. The whole number, if you want to see the whole number, you will use what? If you want to see the whole number part, I will just say this, 500 by 56. Can you see? It means 500 by 56 is 8 times remainder 52. Are you getting the idea? So you can see the way these two is useful or are useful. So the same way, 2000 by 3D, this one will only show me the remainder. So the remainder is 2. What's going to be the whole number? The whole number will just be 2000 by 3. That is, so 2000 by 3 will give me 666, remainder 2. Hope you understand these two. It is important. We should not mix it together. 2/ will give me whole number. Percentage sign will give me remainder. Summary. Any question?
No question. We are following.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So I will be asking, I will be calling names now.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, what's the question, ma'am?
Is there any way you can use the both syntax at the same time?
Yes.
Example, you want to get 52, 600 remainder 2 that you use in a sentence. Let me see.
Oh, 600 remainder 2. Okay, like for example, let's say we want to combine this. Let's do it this way. Let's say I first of all say 2000 and modulo, let's say modulo 3, for example. Let's see what's going to give us. I'm coming. Can you see? Now, the idea is that though what you ask, when we get to the program itself, there is a way a question will come that we instruct you on how to modify the information such that what you are looking for will come up. Let me explain briefly the importance of this. Let's say, for example, you want to write a program that shows you even number. You know, when we say even number, generally, even number are number that when you make the division, the remainder is 0. You understand? So it now depends on how you want to invoke the report. If I'm interested in a remainder that is 0, and I want to invoke an operation in a code form, then this modulo becomes so important because I know it's an even. I can know that an even number is any number that when you divide by 2, the remainder will be 0. So I will generalize the number modulo these two and tell myself to say is equal to 0. For example, if I do this, for example, let's say for the case of argument, I said if my number, general number, modulo 2 is 0. What I said here, what I've done here to say that whatever the number is, so when you use that number, when you divide that number by 2, my remainder should be 0, because Python allows you this. You have invoked this operation on the body of a program that you are looking for, so that whatever the number somebody inputs, it will only check. So if that number is, if the remainder is 0, then that number is even. So that's how you will invoke it in an operation. But that will get to a programming concept on its own. You will understand this better. But these are ways you can use it. In case I'm not interested in the remainder, if a program is requesting that, is only interested in the whole number of a particular division, then you know that modulo will not come. Rather, you use what? Double slash. These are ways to come, but it depends on how a program is being structured. Then you will know which one is to be used. Do you understand? And in the body of a program, I can even use the 2. Maybe I'm interested in finding the even number. I'm also interested in getting the whole number of any fraction. Do you understand? It can come. If this, do this. If that, do this. These are conditional statements that you can invoke based on operation. Do you understand? So it can come. But a program will direct you on what to do and how to use it in the body of a program. Is that clear?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So what you're trying to tell me, just like for us to do it, we have to invoke the if command.
Yes, no, that's the condition. That's how it will check. You're just telling Python to say check for me if any number, just like the one I've written. You know, somebody will have supplied. Somebody will have supplied the number.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Thank
This
you
number
so
is.
much. I understand it. Yes.
This number will be a variable. Somebody will have supplied it. You now say anybody supply your number. If the number is even, that means if I divide and my remainder is 0, Python, this number is even. Do you understand? So, and that's how it works. Okay? Are we together?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want us to take us to, because we are not yet. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, express what I saw now. I tried to just do like a sort of inverse where you have that 2000 floor division 3, modulo 3, and I first used the modulo before the inverse still gave me the same 0. So I just want to see like just a brief explanation of why that is the case, that if you even switch, it will still give you the same thing.
Okay. So I should give you the explanation, right?
Yes.
Okay, take it one by one. Based on what you have said, order of precedence in terms of doing the BODMAS part. But this is a special operation. The only thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is it actually checking? Now, the idea thing is that, let's assume this floor division comes first. Now, you are telling Python to say, okay, do this thing first. As an example, give me my report. If you do this, we're only going to be dealing with the remainder. That means maybe remainder, let's say, is the whole number, rather, let's say 666 as an example. So if this one returns 666, then you're not saying that 666, which is a result, give me the remainder when I use this thing to divide it. Do you understand the idea? So I'm using the same number. Let's assume this number changes. Let's say I say 4. Do you understand the idea? And let's run it and see what we're going to have. Do you see? Is this same number I'm returning? Now, and that was why you are having, because when you even inverse it, you are not changing anything. The operation will still perform because it's going to give you the same answer. I don't know if you're getting the logic. It's the same number till the year. So even if you change it, even if you change this order, this operation will still remain because the number is still the same thing. Are you getting it? But if I change the number, of course, by the time you change the order, it will be different. Do you understand the logic? It's just by number. Okay?
Yes.
All right, that's why that is, because the same number you are using as the divisor and the modulo. So the number will not, even if you change the sign, it's still the same number that is going to return. But if you change the number, you are not expected to have the same answer. Is that fine?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'll be asking questions. I'll be calling our names. We have done all of this, so I'll just ask you what's going to be the answer. So expect me to call the first person I'm going to call. 2 + 5 floor division 4. So I'm expecting the result. I'll call somebody now. Taiwo Motosho. Can you help us with the first result? 2 plus 5 plus division 4. What will be the answer?
One.
Thank you. So we know we should not forget our board mass. It will first of all do this. That's 7. So 7 plus division 4. I'm only interested in the whole number. 7 plus division 4 will give me the whole number is 1, remainder 3. So I'm going to have 1 here. Is correct. So the next person, thank you, Mr. Taiwo. Next person, Ekena Chinwe. Particular order. I'm just speaking now. Chinwe.
The second one is 3.
Good, because the person has helped us. Okay, Pascal, the next one. Now, I'm not even need to use Python. You use modulo, remainder. Just look at it in that way. Modulo, remainder, floor, whole number. Is that what?
1.
All right, thank you. So I expect you can perform the rest. Now, power. As you are doing modulo, you can also do power. Like 5 raised to power 9, 200 raised to power 500. Python also allows you to do that. So our symbol for performing power, like the number raised to power another number, is using double star, which is double times. 10 times you see double times is not 2 times. Rather, it's saying that number raised to the next number. That's what this 2 star represents power. So this is pronounced 2 raised to power 3. And we know 2 raised to power 3 should give us 8. So that answers that. But we need to know that when I want to do power of something, I don't use in elementary programming, maybe algorithm, you use caret, that thing that look like cap. But in Python, it's 2 times, 2 products, 2 star that represents power. So, in some program, you can write 2 carets, 3, something, even in calculator, you have this thing that look like V, like that, inverted V in the other way. So it is what those ones use as their own power. But in Python, it's 2 star that represented power. And this will give us 25. So this will give us a very large number, which, let me reduce it. 45 to the power 56. So that's the number. You can see how useful. Imagine if you want to multiply this one with your head. Look at the figure you're going to. Can you even pronounce this one? So you understand. That's how beautiful, using a program is. Imagine if you have to calculate this one with your head. It's not going to be easy. So that is just about that. So all of this operation, I'm going to be leaving it as part of maybe the exercise you're going to be throwing at also, because the targets, I only combine all of the operations we have worked with, together. So by the time I share these assignments, you have them. So, but then it's just combining. So by now, we should know what to do. So this one is saying 9 floor 2 star 2. So 9 floor 2, whole number, 9 by 2, I should have 4. 4 raised to power 2. The answer here should be 16. And that's just it. So you should be able to play around it, and you can do so many examples to also assist you in getting a grip of them. Now, we move to the next one. Hope you understood before going to variables. Do you understand? These are basic fundamentals that we are doing. Should we proceed?
Yeah.
All right. Variables. So any question so far? Any questions so far in what we have done? And I hope, do we have our Python open? Our Jupyter notebook, is it opened at our end? At least maybe we should have few people open it at least.
Yeah.
All right. So we go to the next. What is variable? Just like the way it interprets variable, something that can change, all right? So that is same thing. No, the same way, since we knew to be variable is still the same thing here. Variable, something that can change. But the only logic here is that variable is like a container in Python. It's like a container, you know, like your basket that you now putting fruit inside. So a variable is a container that you want to take element or you want to take item in. So just sit in that perspective. And variable are so important in Python because by the time you get to a writing, functions or writing some dynamic programming, variable becomes so important because so I can relate with it. You don't need to be declaring, changing the number often and often. Once you declare it, and you invoke your operation and to work the way you wanted it to work. So variable is a container. There are rules to variable definition. That means I need to define something. If I want to say basket of fruit is a name, and that is a variable. Do you understand? And when I say basket of fruit, there can be so many fruits inside that basket. So if I begin to add the fruits inside the basket, those fruit I'm adding becomes the element of that variable. Do you understand? So look at it in that manner. A variable is a container. Since I'm putting inside that container are the element of that container. So a variable is a container, and what I put inside are the element of that container. So it means a variable have to be, assigned, have to call it out that I'm saying anywhere you see this thing, call it this. Do you understand? So a variable can either be singleton, it can be empty, and it can contain many elements. It can be single, like maybe, just contain one single element. It can be empty, might not have anything inside, and it can contain as many things as you wanted. So a variable is a container, just like see it as a container, basket of fruit. Do you understand? So that is it. So the first one, the elementary one we did this, you said A is equals to 2. So A here is not an alphabet A, but rather a container is a variable. Why is it a variable? How do I know it's a variable? There's an assignment. Assignment is equals to. It's an assignment statement, okay? It's not equals to 2, but I've assigned number 2 to variable A. That's how you interpret it. I did not say equals to 2. It's not equals to. In Python, this single equality is not equals to. It's an assignment. Our equal to in Python is double equal. So this is an equality. Do you understand? So we are still going to get to that. This is an equality, but this one is an assignment. We have to understand it. So a single equality is an assignment that is putting an element into a variable container. Do you understand? Or into a variable. So I'm saying that 2 is an element of a container A. That's the meaning. But it's not A equals to 2. A in this case is a variable because I'm asked you to identify which of these is a variable, which one is not a variable. So A in this case is a variable. So the element 2 is an element inside A. So immediately you do it, anywhere in this part of this program that I call A, I will see 2 because I've assigned it. It cannot change. You have said A is assigned to be 2. So he's going to be seeing his own element as 2. Nothing changes. If I call A out, if I do this now, because I've assigned, if I run this program, nothing will show because I've not said anything. I've only assigned something. If I run it, nothing will show here because I've just done assignment. Let me run and see. You see, nothing happened. You only change the number, but nothing happened because I did not do anything. I only assigned. If I now want to see the element inside that variable, I can now call the variable. Instead of me writing 2 now, I will not write 2. I will only be calling the variable. So anywhere in this part of the program that I call A is going to be picking the element that I have assigned it to be, which is going to be 2. Do you understand the idea? So don't miss it as an equality. It's an assignment. So if I call it now, you see, it's showing me that my A is 2 because that's what I've defined it to be. I said a variable can be empty, it can be single, and it can contain many elements. So don't forget. So in this case, it's just a single element. It might not have anything as well. Do you understand? Which you are going to see. So the same thing with this B. I've assigned 3 to variable B. That's how you pronounce it. I have assigned 3 to variable B. So if I call this out, if you run this program also, this will not show anything. It's not running because you've only done assignments here. So it will only show here because I've called it out. You can see B. If I run this program, now, B will show 3. Can you see? So I've done it. No, because I've assigned, I don't need to remember again what is A, what is B, what I've called it. I can now go inside and perform an operation without not naming my A, my B again, because I've assigned it already. This is the beautiful thing about variable. So you don't need to be recalling what is my A, what is A. No, you don't need. We have assigned it. Just make use of it in subsequent calculation. It will work. So what's the first I'm going to be doing? If I come here, I'm just going to see something now. If I say an operation A plus B is what I want to do. Look at what I've written. I want to say, okay, add element A with element B. That's what I did here. But I don't even need to know what A and B is. I've already defined it. So if you run this operation, you can see we have what? 5. And it's true. A is 2, B is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. I only write A and B. I only add the variables together. You just go and pick the element that I've assigned and add it. And that is the final. You understand? So that is what he has done. So even if you now come here to change this, anything you change it to, you run it and call this function again, it will work. Without not necessarily need to change every time and be writing 2. Instead of me writing 2 and 3 here, I've forgotten about it. I will only be using their variable. Now look at this also. I said C is equal to A plus B. Now, if I run this program also, you can tell me what's going to be this answer. If I run this C equals to A plus B, what's going to be the answer?
5.
5, okay. Who else agrees is 5?
I feel it's error because C has not been assigned. I don't know. I'm just
good. It's not going to be error, but it's not going to be 5. Reason is that we only know A and B. Do you understand? What we are saying is that when you perform this operation, no, define a new variable. A new variable is C. So it's going to save the answer inside C. But at this point, you will not see it because I've only assigned. You have to look at it though. I've only assigned the summation of A and B to a new variable called C. So this is a variable definition. It will not perform anything. I will only see the value of C if I call the C out separately. Do you understand the idea? If I run this program, you can see nothing happen because this thing I did here is assignment. Are you getting it? It's assignment. So if I now want to see what is the value of C, I will need to define that. I can now be calling the C now. C now has a value which depends on A and B. If I call this one, I now have C. You can see the difference. This point is an assignment. I'm only telling a Python to say, you know what? The sum of A and B, put that value inside the new container called C. I've not performed the operation. I'm only instructing it to do something for me. So I now have A, I now have B separately, and now put their sum inside another container called C, which is what I did here. So if I want to see that element inside that container, I can now call the variable out. Show me, what is it? C is what? Is 5. Do you understand? Are we following? Are you following?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So please, let's just follow. Let's follow. Hope it's not mixing up. If there's any question, ask. Is a variable. So don't forget, anytime you see this single equality, you are only assigning. So know that now. I'm only assigning. So I'm assigning the sum of A and B, which is going to be a number, you know, at this point. But put this answer inside a new container. You have defined a new container here, which is not part of this something before. So here, nothing will happen. Operation will not, it will only take the value. Okay, this person said I should do this addition. But this answer, put it in a new container and see. Yes, he has accepted. But we will not show it to you because you have not asked it to show. You only define your variable definition. Then it will only show if you now call it out. And say, okay, show me that number. Do you understand? So know that the fact that I put C here and it showed to me, I can also use print. It's still the same thing. Don't forget though. I can also say print C. It's still the same thing. Don't forget, you have explained this. It's still the same thing. Do you understand? I can do the variable directly, I put print, everything will show. We've been able to break down what print is meant for. So we should be okay with this. Are we fine with this? Are you fine with this?
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you. So that is what we said. Now look at something again. A. I've just defined I just call my A again. I don't expect to change. Is you give me what? Because that's what I've called it. Don't forget, my A still remains. I've not changed it. So anytime I'm calling the A in this program, I expect to be 2, except otherwise defined. If I didn't define it, if I didn't change it, it will not change. Now, I am now saying another thing. Who can interpret this for me? Which is even clear now. Look at it. I am saying that, you know what? Put the value of A inside a new container called D. Are you getting it? You can see the way we are playing around it. Are we together? You can see. So it has a value on its own. So whatever you have defined to be A, let it be equal to D. Like A and D are equal. Like that's what we're saying. That means the element inside the container A is the same element inside the container D. Do you get it now? So it's not changing. This one you did here is another reassignment. I'm reassigning it again. So if I run this, nothing will happen. But if I call this variable out, I should see 2. Can you see? So both A and D are having the same element now. So don't let us, hope we are following it. The same thing. So the same thing. Now what is E? Can somebody tell me what's the value of E? And explain it. What's going to be the value of E? What's going to be the value of E?
Please
Hello?
take down the stuff or screen well so that I can see where.
What's going to be the value of E? Let's assume I just define E. What's going to be the value of E? Let's assume I put E here. What will be the
We've
value of
not
E?
assigned any value for E.
Good, that's the answer. I have not assigned any value to E. So if you see E here, fine, E is a variable. I've defined something, but it's nothing. It will show you error because I've not defined anything. You just show me, you can see it's an error. In everything you have been saying this morning, did you mention anything E? So Python will look at it from the beginning and say, Oga, you have not shown me E now. So why are you asking me to show E that is not available? That's what you are saying. Look at it. It said name E is not defined. Simple. And one of the beautiful things about Python, it will tell you what is the problem. It will even lead you to where the error is so that you can go and check. Look at it. It said the error is in what is 950. You see? And line 1, say 50, line 1, the first line. So go and check. And I even highlighted it for you that, Oga, I don't have element E. So check your definition. And he will also give you the description of what the problem is. So that's one of the beautiful things about Python. You can trace your error to where it is so that you can see it in case you have a bond line of many codes. But here now, I've defined it. If I run this thing, nothing should happen because I've just defined. Don't forget, it's the definition here. I can only see it here now, 10. So now what's going to be this value? If I change this to, what will be this one? What am I going to have now? I've said E is equal to 10. If I run this one, what should I have? And I've said E is equal to 10. I've defined.
I think it's still
Okay, it will give me 10, Abby.
I don't think so.
Oh,
This
no.
is capital E.
I don't think so because
Good.
yes.
Good. That's very good. Python is case sensitive. So whatever you have defined as your variable should remain. So if I go and put capital E here, because if I say E is E now, and you said E, it will throw error because capital E is different from small letter E. So Python is case sensitive. When you are defining your variable, be careful. Whatever thing you have used, don't change it. Maybe somebody wrote something like this. Maybe somebody said initially Z bar is 1, 2, as an example. Let me do this. 1, 2, 3. Let somebody define this. And this is what you are defined as var. You now want to call this var. You now come here and say var. There are two different things. What has changed? I use small letter v here. When I'm calling the variable, I'm using capital letter V. But don't tell you that you are not telling me it's not the same thing. So you must, whatever you have used as your definition, it must be the same thing you're going to be calling anytime. So this is that's what this one is saying. So capital E here would give me an error because there's nothing like that. Then this E equals to 20. Don't forget that we have said E is equal to 10, Abi. Now, E is equal to 20. I've also defined again. And I've told us something here. I expect somebody to say something. I've defined E again to be 20. Now, the first E we defined was 10. And we can see that value. I also use the same E, and I said it's 20. And now ask Python to show me the result. Which one do you think it will show me here? I've explained this concept.
The last one.
The last one.
Good.
20.
Good, because we have said it. It doesn't understand except you use print. Like we show everything, but if you do not use print, it's going to be recognizing the last one. So what's going to be E equals to E plus 10? What will be this value?
20.
Are you sure? E, what's the last value of E?
That's 30.
Good. The last value of E. The last value of E is 20. You just said the answer. And I'm now adding 10 to it. And I said save it in another variable E. So Python is going to be recognizing this 20 because this is the last value you define for E. And when you had 20 plus 10, you say Python, save it in another E. So it's going to be the new E now will be 30. Do you understand? Do you see the logic? That's why I said it in the first place. Python will only recognize the last one you are defining. So this is the last E is saying. Every other one you have defined before, it doesn't concern Python again. You have used it and it's gone. I'm only recognizing this is the latest version of your E. So Python will only recognize your latest version and it will work with that. So we should also understand that part. So are we fine? Are we fine so far? That's variable. Do we understand the way we have done it?
Yes.
Do we have any question? Do you have any question? Hello, do you have any question?
No question, it's clear.
All right. So can we do this and probably we call it a class today? There are a lot of things to cover, but then if you stop a variable, I think we might be fine so that we don't load ourselves with so many things and in between we are lost. Is that what?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe we can just digest this one.
All right, good. So I also presume so. So should we try this then and call it a class for today? You should try this question.
That would be nice.
All right. So let's try this. Now look at what we have defined. That will be we'll be closing with this. I have defined first variable 1, second variable this, and third variable this. Now I'm performing an operation based on the variable I've defined. So please, I will be calling us. So you need to follow. Everything you have done before is still the same thing. So don't forget, if there's anyone that is last, is going to take the last. So you need to make use of that thing, fast. So the first one says, before you run this, now, look at what I've said. Your in here is TMT. So you must run this, because if you don't run this and you go and run this line, it will not work. Because you have not instantiate your variables. You have not, you only define it. You have not tell Python to see it and take it in. Hello. Okay. So what I was saying is that more often than just defining a variable, you must instantiate it, like you must run it. that is when Python will recognize this definition. You can see STMT. If I didn't run anything and I went to go and jump and run this line, it will throw error because you are telling Python to do addition of first and second variable without not even instantiating the definition of your variable. So the first thing is just run this. That's your definition. I've run it. So you run it, it's not going to show anything. You only tell Python, take this value in as my variables, basic. Now, the first thing is first variable plus second variable. Now we should know. I think all of us should cover the answer. First variable is 1, second variable is 2. So my answer here should be 3. Are we correct?
That's 3.
So that's 3.
Yes.
So there's nothing on that one.
Yeah.
Now, first variable minus third variable. That is 1 minus 5. My answer should be minus 4. Are we correct?
-4, yes.
Minus 4.
Yes.
This is first variable times second variable. 1 times 2 is, can we see? Is 2.
2.
Now, look at it now. First variable, I said my new variable is last variable. I now said first variable plus third variable. And I said, show me the last variable. That means I said add 1 and 5, which is going to be 6. This 6, save it in a variable called last variable. Don't forget, save it in a place called last variable. So because I've defined it here and I've run it, if I run this program, it's going to show me 6, and it's correct because first variable is 1, third variable is 5. So 1 plus 5 is 6, and I have saved it inside a variable called last variable. So if I ask you, what is last variable? Last variable now is 6. Are we together? Aha.
Yes.
All right, good. So what's first variable? First variable should not change.
1.
First variable should be what? 1.
Okay.
Now, look at something now. Last variable is equal to last variable plus 10. What is our last variable?
6.
So you know this is going to be 16, right?
Yes.
Good, 16. So if I ask you now, let me do something. What is this? Can I ask you? What would be this answer?
6.
16.
What's going to be this answer?
16.
So those of us that mentioned 16, clap for us. We have said it. This is what Python is recognizing as the last. This is the last. Don't always forget. Last line is what Python is recognizing as a new variable. You have initially it was 6. You use it here. You had it with 10. You gave you a new number, 16. You save the 16 inside here. So this is the last. So by the time you call it out now, it's going to go to the last, not to the other one. All this one has completed its assignment and it has gone. Are we getting it? So the last variable is 16. So we're going to be stopping here for today. Any questions so far? Thank you. Any question?
For me, no question. Thank you so much. I must say, when you started that minus and plus, very first example, I wasn't following. At a point, I was tempted to leave the class and join another meeting that I have. But really, here, I'm all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, sir. So I'm trying to run this. I don't know why I'm having error here. Maybe I have a mistake. I'm trying to trace it now.
Okay, can you share your screen?
The last variable where you say variable assigned.
You mean this one?
Yes, it's the last time we just did now.
This one,
And I
yeah.
want to see what am I missing? I also did the last variable assigned last variable. Okay, I think I skipped. Giving us 6.
Okay. Are you fine? Are we fine?
Yes, yes, yeah.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you. All right. Thank you
Hello.
so much. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the session. I joined the class late.
Okay.
Please, with the recorded link will it be dropped in the group?
Yeah.
Class.
Yeah. I'll drop the
Uh,
recording
Thank
of the.
you, Aura.
Thank you very, very much. It was such a wonderful class.
Thank you so
Thank
much, ma. So please, for things we have done, maybe latest Sunday, you have your assignments, share within the group. Please ensure you attempt them. It's not necessary you get everything. Attempt them. They're very simple, just to brush our knowledge on what we have done. And because we could not finish this notebook, I'm going to be sending a screenshot of everything we have done so that when you are going through it, you can run it on your own program, on your own Jupyter notebook, at least to practice and be sure that you get the same answer with us and you can go ahead and do the assignment. So by the time you are sending your file, you are sending your work of the class and the assignment solution. So this is how it will work. Let's say, for example, please, a minute just to round up. Let's say, for example, this is an assignment. So, that means your class, your notebook will be like this. We comprise it of all what we have done, like running the program that we have done so far. Then your assignments will come like as we just do your assignments. And yeah, I've taught us how to write. So you can just read and maybe create a line and just do, we have said it, put assignments so that you distinguish it from. And when you do like this and you want it to show, you do mark down, run it, so I can see, oh, this is now where your assignment is, is starting from, and you do whatever you need to do. Do you understand what I've explained? So that is just that. Any question?
No.
All right.
Yes, boss. How do you say I
Are you
should go
going to
about
send this through your Git account or is it in the group?
No. I only added. I will share you this. You can contact me on my LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, and I also drop my Git. No problem. I didn't
Okay.
have that with this.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. My boss, I'm trying to ask if this, how to get those option. I don't know, update mine. I don't know how to do it, but I can run.
We will do
I
that.
followed
Maybe.
you to run all the stuff that you did, but just getting those drop down.
Okay.
That
Okay.
I don't know
No,
why.
no problem. I think
I'm still using Python 3. That's still what I'm using. I don't know
where you
why.
are using Python, it's fine. It's fine. But don't worry, we'll check. We'll look at it.
Okay.
We'll look at it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem. So thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate. We'll see next week by the grace of God. You have your assignment before Sunday, and we also share the tuning time. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention. I do appreciate.
Thank you,
Have
Mr.
a
Larawaji.
have a lovely evening.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you, sir.